Alright everyone, this video is about what to do if you wake up with a proto-headache. How to abort that proto-headache before it snowballs into an all-out migraine episode. So what do I mean by a proto-headache? I mean you wake up and you have that tension that's characteristic of an oncoming headache. For me, I feel that at the back of my neck, I feel it in my shoulder blades, and I feel that stress going down into my gut. Like it's traveling down the vagus nerve and giving me nausea, and I might burp a little bit. And I feel, in general, the pain being referred up into my forehead and into my eyes and temples. Now, the proto-headache might only be a 3 or a 4 out of 10. But if you're not careful, and if you don't abort it quickly, it can get up to a 7 or an 8 within just a matter of an hour or two. So what did I do today to abort that proto-headache? To take it from a 4 to a 0, rather than from a 4 to an 8 or a 9. First, I avoided my phone because getting sucked into the screen too early into the morning when you're already tight can result in an additional tightening that can put you over the edge. Number 2, I did the exercises that I do every day anyway to train my body to prevent headaches. So for me, that meant today very light kettlebell swings, very light Turkish get-ups. I stretched my shoulders with the doorway stretch that looks like this. And then I did some yeses, nos, and ear to shoulders like this. Yes. No. Ear to shoulder. Now these are the exercises for my shoulders to neck region that I do anyway to train to make myself more resilient to getting headaches in the neck. Okay? When you strengthen the neck, you can minimize the occurrence of occipital neuralgia episodes. And when you're having a headache forming, you can use these same exercises to try to abort the oncoming headache. Why? Well, because it increases blood flow, it increases circulation, and it loosens you up. The headache that you're feeling, the proto-headache, could just be a tension in the muscles that you had from, let's say, like this morning, I had a really intense dream at about 5:45 a.m. I emerged from it with this proto-headache. I think what happens in your sleep is that if you're having a really intensive dream, you might clench your teeth, or you might crank onto the pillow funny. And that tension, if you're in a dream and you go with it for 10 or 15 minutes, you wake up and now that tension is stuck in you and you have to unwind it. And these exercises can help unwind that tension. Now that I'm starting to get ahead of the proto-headache and I'm starting to kick it back down from a 4 to a 3 to a 2, now I'm going to go for the throat. What am I going to do? I'm going to go for a light jog, a 2-mile, very light, barefoot jog, actually not barefoot, but with Vibram 5-finger toe shoes. I'm not going to push it. I'm going to focus on breathing this cool, fresh, fall New England air and just get increased circulation, more pain-killing chemicals. And then to really take it from a 1 or a 2 to a 0, I'm going to jump in my ice bath. And that shock that I get from the 50-degree water is going to it's going to erase whatever remaining headache symptoms are left after I do my exercises, after I do my light jog. And then the cold water is going to just knock that fucker out to 0. And then I'll be able to go on to my day normally without having taken any medication. Now, if the proto-headache was a 6 instead of a 4, that's when I might consider adding a little bit of triptan into the mix. That happens maybe twice or 3 times a month. I'll take a small dose of triptan. Then I'll do my exercises, my stretches, my cold plunge. Another thing you can do, if it's too intense, you might want to start with heat instead of cold. Go into a hot shower, let the heat start to break down the proto-headache, then go into the cold plunge, and the temperature swings can shock the proto-headache down to a 2 or a 1. Mix in a little bit of triptan with that, it can go to a 0. These are all things that you can do to take a proto-headache from a 4 or a 5 to a 0 rather than from a 4 or a 5 to a 10. So I hope you enjoyed that video. Wishing you all the best. My heart always goes out to migraine sufferers like myself. I want to do whatever I can to share the information that I've learned over the years to help you deal with your headaches. All right, have a good weekend. Peace.